beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. This is the Catalyst and I'm so excited to have you here. I just want to send out a shout out to every one of you who have subscribed to the channel, and I'm so grateful that you're here again to watch this video, which I know you're going to like extremely well. So I welcome you all to the first episode of what we call Read Aloud. And in this episode, we're going to touch on some important books that you might have read or not that have got very beautiful nuggets to give us whilst we catalyze our own success in our own way. And today, I am glad to be here to start with the first episode. And yes, this is the first episode that's going to go out in the month of March. And today being the 1st of March, I just want to say Happy New Month to every one of you, my fans. So let's get the ball rolling. So, just as I said, we are going to do one of the great books I ever read. And I know most of you know this book, especially when it was transformed into a movie back in 2016. It got all the hype and people really gave it a good watch, but there are still a lot of hidden facts behind this book that you do not know. Stay tuned and enjoy it as we roll down. Hi everyone, welcome back. So, just as I was talking about, we just set and rolling, and today the book for discussion is Hidden Figures. Yes, Hidden Figures. And this book was written by Margaret Lee Shedley. And I love this particularly because it displays an incredible story of how three African Americans who were mathematicians actually helped to get the NASA space race rolling back in the 1960s. And amidst this story is a display of the African woman's resilience, determination, and pushing through all odds of race and discrimination. And so this book is one of the books that's so dear to my heart, and today I want us to explore four major themes in this book. Okay, so the four themes that we're looking at today, the first one is the trailblazing women. That is Dorothy Vaughan, Katherine Johnson, and Mary Jackson, and how important they sailed through. These women did incredibly well, just as I would say it. And the next thing I would like us to look at is pushing through in the face of adversities. March is a female month, I call it. And so I just want us to put the spotlight on women in this month. And the next thing I'd like us to look at is education empowerment. And the final theme that I want us to grab from this book is teamwork and collaboration. So let's jump at it. Before we do this, guys, don't forget to share, like, subscribe. In fact, if you're not subscribing or sharing, then I don't know what you're waiting for. You do want your friends to get a hook of this beautiful nugget in this new video, and it being the first episode in March. I'm super excited to share it with everybody. So please, hey, don't keep it. Share, subscribe. Yeah? Good. Now let's start rolling to reading. So let's start, and I'm just going to pick up from page 11, and we're going to see who Dorothy Vega was and the role she really played and who she was and her background. So it reads, another woman in Dorothy's situation might have seen taking the laundry job as unthinkable, regardless of the economics. Wasn't the purpose of a college degree to get away from the need to work dirty and difficult jobs? And the location of the camp, 30 miles southeast of Farmville, meant that she lived in worker housing during the week and got home only on weekends. Now, this is the most interesting part, guys. See, it says here that by the 40 cent an hour Dorothy earned as a laundry sorter bested what she earned as a teacher, And with 4 children, a summer of extra income would be put to good and immediate use. Now it goes down. So this is what it's saying. Dorothy was a teacher, yet she was doing all the other dirty jobs. Yes, I know. You and I would agree that usually we go to the colleges to get away with all the dirty jobs that brings all the money. So despite Dorothy being a teacher who she really loved to teach, she still had to pick up jobs. Her background, she was not settled with one job. Capture that. Now let's move on. It says, and Dorothy was of an unusual independent mind, impatient with the pretensions that sometimes accompanied by the upwardly mobile members of the race. She did nothing to draw attention to herself at Camp Pickett. Camp Pickett was where she was teaching. Nor did she make any distinction between herself and the other women. There was something in her bearing that transcended her soft voice and diminutive stature. Her eyes dominated her lovely camel-hulled face, almond-shaped, wide-set, intense eyes that seemed to see everything. Education topped her list of ideals. Now, this is one of the sections we'll be delving deep into: education empowerment. This is it. It says, education topped her list of ideals. It was the surest hedge against a world that would require more of her children than white children and attempt to give them less in return. The Negro's ladder to the American dream was mizzen ranks. Point well noted. Now, let's introduce the second character, who is Katherine Johnson. Now, introducing Katherine Johnson. When you read page number 69, it says, those who move forward. It tells you already who Katherine was. Now let's see who she was and where she was coming from. So it says, Katherine Goble would have eventually found her way back to the classroom, but a fever hastened the process in 1944. Her husband, Jimmy, a chemistry teacher at the Negro High School in Marion, Virginia, had fallen ill with indolent fever. The illness, which came from drinking unpasteurized milk, had sickened at least 8 people in Smith County that summer. Weeks, sometimes months of sweats, fatigue, poor appetite, and pain lay in store for the unfortunate victims. There was no way Jimmy would have been able to start the school year that fall, so the principal offered Jimmy's year-long contract to Katherine instead. That is, if husband is not well to the classroom, let the wife take over. Now let's move on. It will be her second time around as a teacher at the school. In 1937, newly graduated from West Virginia State Institute. Now, before you know, Katherine went to one of the most prestigious schools and graduated as the first female Negro. So already she had made history from where she was coming from, and she was an expert with mathematics. Continuing, it says, in 1937, nearly graduated from West Virginia State Institute, 18-year-old Katherine applied for a position at the Marion School, which was just on the Virginia side of the border. Quote, if you can play the piano, the job is yours, the telegram read. She bade farewell to her home state and boarded a bus in Charleston, the state capital, settling in for a 3-hour ride to Marion. So that is where Katherine Johnson is also coming from. Someone whose husband died, left with 3 children, and you can just imagine her way journey down to Nassau and how she triumphed. Hold on and get a third character introduced, and that is Mary Jackson. Now let's see where Mary also came from. I'm reading from chapter 10, and it says, Home by the Sea. That is where Mary came from. It says, during Mary's childhood, elders at the black churches in the heart of downtown Hampton still told stories of sitting under a glorious oak tree across the river on the campus of what would become Hampton's Institute and listening to Union soldiers read the Emancipation Proclamation. Those ancestors walked into the gathering as legal property and emerged as free citizens of the United States of America. No one was more of a being here than Mary Jackson. Now, this is the interesting part. So it says that the old Hampton neighborhood where Mary grew up in the heart of downtown was literally built upon the foundations of the Ground Contraband Camp, founded by slaves who had decided to liberate themselves during the Civil War from the families that had stolen their labor and their lives. The refugees sought shelter as contraband of war in the Union stronghold of Fort Manry, located at Old Point Comfort. So this is basically it. You have Dorothy, who is coming as a teacher, has a very low salary and has to do other jobs to mount up his salary. You have Catherine, who is coming from a background where the husband died, left her with 3 kids to raise all by herself, and she needed some jobs to get through. And you have Mary Jackson, who is also coming from a very primitive background of slaves. Now let's see how these ladies transformed into being who they are. Guys, if by this time you've not subscribed, share, or like, I don't know what you're waiting for. First episode, please share, like, subscribe, and let me hear what you think in the comment section. All right? Great. Hold on, and let's deal with Dorothy's triumphant. So I'm reading from page 59, and it says here in the last paragraph, for 7 months, Dorothy Berg had apprenticed as a mathematician, growing more confidence with the concept, the numbers, and the people at Langley. Her work was making a difference in the outcome of the war and the devastation Henry Read described. She had a part in that as well. Great. Through and through it all, Dorothy strived to get up there. She amassed a lot of people, and one thing that I want you to know about Dorothy is that despite the fact that she was in her toe lane as a Negro, she was able to make some acquaintances with the whites on the other side, which made it easier for her to finally land the first African American supervisory role at NASA, and she pulled people along with her. Dorothy never left her group. There was an instance where she was offered to be the supervisor finally, but she was not going to do it with her group and she declined. See, guys, most of the time, teamwork should come first. One of the themes we're exploring today actually is teamwork. Now, after we've explored all these trailblazing women, as I call them, the next thing is teamwork. Teamwork in the sense that sometimes the very people we start with should not be left behind when the glory starts coming. Most people have started projects with teams where they've been able to make significant impact, and when they get to the level where they are taking to the next stage in their career or in whatever they're doing, they tend to leave the group behind. Go with your group. Do not drag the people who work with you so hard for you to attain your level. Do not drop them behind. And the next thing I want us to look at is that even though these women did not come from great backgrounds, they made their impressions. One thing that I want us to know is that they were strict-headed. They were confident, they were full, and they knew what they were capable of achieving and doing. I just want us to consider Mary Jackson. So, Mary had a passion for engineering, and for one to have become an engineer in NASA, they really had to enroll in schools, which were white quoted school and was male dominated. In fact, some professions in STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics at that time, were solely male dominated area, and it was quite difficult for a female to push through to the top. But Mary Jackson did it. See, when you read page 196, the third paragraph, it explains about the determination of Mary, how she was able to roll it all down and finally graduated as the engineer that she wanted. It talks about how she fought the status quo by just going the legal way and making sure that she had what she wanted. Listen, guys, sometimes we're not being given what we deserve as females, as women. We gotta fight for it, we gotta go for it, and we have to push through it till we actually get what we want as women. You'll be thrown at things in your face whilst you climb the academic ladder, the work ladder, but just hold on. The third thing is teamwork and collaboration. Just know that your team is your team, and where they help you get to, do not leave them in the middle of your glory. Carry them along. And the final one is education empowerment. Education empowerment is something that people have stopped talking about in this 21st century, but still, women are less educated in the world currently. The statistics is overwhelming. And if you look at these three beautiful ladies, what set them apart was the fact that they got schooled, they got educated, and because of that, they leveraged on it to be perfect when the opportunity presented itself. So please educate your girl children, educate your women, educate your girls. Marriage, pregnancy, and all the things that come with being a female should not prevent us from getting educated and empowered. And there you have it, guys. If you have loved this episode, please leave a comment, share, subscribe, and hey, do not forget to be that lady and that individual you wish you want to be. And do not stop until your dreams actualize. Until I see you again, just remember that indeed you are a hidden figure yet to shine.